everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Love for Intuitive Astrology. So today I'm going to cover the natal placement of Pluto conjunct the midheaven and Pluto in the 10th house. Now, first, we're going to have to look at the planet of Pluto and what does this planet mean? What does it stand for, right? This is the planet of power, transformation. It rules Scorpio, and Scorpio rules the 8th house. This is about cycles. That's why it's related to life, death, and rebirth. So it's standing up after falling down, standing up after falling down. Okay. Now, it's also about strength, right? Pluto is about strength. And in some ways, it's also related to the underworld and manipulation. Now, I'm going to show you in this video how to overcome this placement, how to work with this placement to get the best outcome, because each planet has different layers, and especially Pluto, right? You can work with the underworld or you can rise and really get the highest outcome of this planet, and Pluto will support it once you nail this position. Okay, so let's go through it. So the 10th house is related to the public, your public visibility, your career, right? This is about authority and authority figures. Now, this could be your boss, this could be your father in most cases, but in some cases, your mother, right? This is just the authority in your life. Now, when you have Pluto on the midheaven or in the 10th house, there is this kind of brewing feeling that you want to get somewhere in life or you want to rise to a higher position. There's kind of a little bit of a hunger for power, okay? But it's a weird placement because Pluto goes through extremes. So there are going to be times where you feel like, you really want to rise to the top, and there are going to be times that you feel like you're not good enough. Like, are you able to do this kind of work, or are you able to do the things that you want to do? Okay. And we're going to find a midway in between those extremes because this is where lies the fine line. And I've really been studying Pluto for a long time. I have a very Plutonic family and I have Pluto on the ascendant. So I've been working with Pluto for quite some time and see how that really resonates in people's lives. Now, you also have to look at the aspects, right? So in some cases, Pluto in the 10th house or midheaven is abuse of power in a past life, especially when it's connected to your 12th house. If there's an aspect with a planet in the 12th house, okay? Now, look at the aspects that Pluto makes, and those planets are either going to support your growth, or maybe they're going to hinder it, or they're going to create obstacles. But eventually, so if it's square Venus, it could mean that some of the obstacles could be related to um, relationships, pulling you out of jobs, right? Meeting the wrong people that are going to take you away from the focus on work. Like you feel like you have to choose love or you have to choose work. Or if it's with the moon, maybe you feel like you have to keep all the secrets or you can't really share that much at work or with people around you. Okay, so this is how you unravel your chart. You're going to look at the aspects. But in general, Pluto in the 10th house is going to bring cycles in which you're going to maybe have to conform to a certain boss. So a lot of you maybe had to deal with a boss that was not so great, right? And you have a very strong belief system. So sometimes it's very hard because your belief system might not match with the belief system or your belief on how things should function in the job is not in alignment with your boss, right? And you might actually meet bosses that are very controlling and are a bit threatened because Pluto has exudes this power, right? Which kind of intimidates people. But at the same time, right? because it's always like kind of a push and pull because it wants you to learn. So it's about experiencing bosses that maybe are not the best, but then it's going to test you as well. Like now you are in a position of power. How are you going to use Pluto? Are you going to shove away responsibilities or bending people to how you want them to be in a company, or how you want people to bend to your truth? So this is just a watch out, right? Doesn't mean you are like this, but it's just being self-aware that this Pluto in the 10th house can create a fantastic career for you. Okay, a fantastic career. If you show determination and strength and humbleness, this is so important because Pluto can sometimes rise to the ego. And this is where the underworld comes out, right? So if you are humble and you show strength and determination, and it's about learning that strength comes from within. It's nothing to do with the external, because how we feel on the inside is manifesting on the outside, right? So eventually, yes, you are meant to become a leader, but you're going to be tested before. So I always say, if you have a strong Pluto, use it for the good because you can help so many people. Okay. And if you fall into, um, if you fall into maybe external control, like I need people to do this for me, this is going to eventually maybe create a fall from grace, right? Because we have the life, death, rebirth. And in some cases, people literally work with life, death, and rebirth, right? True. Jobs that people have with Pluto in the 10th house, what I've seen is um, they're great therapists. Great therapists. Like you can work also with huge crises. Like you can help people with massive traumas because some of you have been there yourself and you want to make it your job to actually help people transform. This is your strength, okay? So you pull people out. Like I've seen people working on the ambulance, right? It's a really, you have to stand really in your power and stay calm in really dangerous situations, right? People, firemen, or um, people who, yeah, the medical field, research, um, people who work in sports, right? Like people who work in sports and they need this massive strength to get things done. Repetition and determination. Okay. Great researchers, right? Like that's why I relate it very often also to the medical field or any scientific field because Pluto is obsessive. That's why it's so important to use this planet for the good because it can really damage if you're not in the higher level. Like Scorpio has 3 layers, right? And Pluto rules Scorpio. So you have the lower, the mid, right? Where you're going to transform and then you're going into the light. And this is where I want people to go because if you have Pluto, you're able to do jobs that other people are not maybe able to handle. So you can go into massive research, especially if it's connected in a positive alignment with Mercury. You can do great research, like get to the depth of a situation, detectives, policemen. Okay. Yeah. So there is this exude of power. So use it for the good. Take responsibility. If something happened, take responsibility. You don't have to take responsibility for other people, right? Just for your own actions because you want to balance past life actions when you have this placement, and you want to use Pluto for good because sometimes if you stay in this underworld of Pluto, you want to rise in society, right? Like sometimes we see people in governmental positions as well, displacement, because 10th house is the house of Capricorn, right? This is also related to the government and rise really high up. And um, networking with people and kind of going making your way in through a bit of manipulation. So this is not what we want. We want someone that stands for their principles. So if you want to go in politics, we want someone honest and fierce, someone that can really open people's eyes. That's why it's so important that if you have a strong Pluto, that you are becoming aware, okay? That you're becoming aware. In some situations as well, what is seen is that people can suddenly be fired. Let me know in the comments if that ever happened to you, right? Like this really unfair situations. And sometimes you will even be blamed for something you didn't do. Like there were maybe times that you did do it, but there might be times that you were suddenly fired, that you had to leave the job and you were like, I actually didn't do anything, and you're just being sent away. Okay. Um, Also important to watch out for is that as a parent yourself, right? As becoming authority yourself, you're becoming a parent, that you don't just focus on your career, that you find a good balance between your career and your home life, because we have the opposite axis of the fourth house, right? Ruled by Cancer. This is about your home life. So it's important not to fully avoid your home life, okay? So when you grow up, you could have dealt with like very controlling authority. So your father or your mother or both of your parents could be a bit controlling or really pushing you into career, like very disciplined, and they really wanted you to go high up, and that created immense stress within you. Like I have to reach or go somewhere because this is what they want from me, and you build up this strength to uh, climb the ladder. But sometimes you pick a career that is not actually suiting to what it is that your heart wants. So it's important that you first root yourself, so you create the stability which you have in the fourth house, so you can have a healthy career in the 10th house. Okay, so don't neglect your family, children, by working too much. And in some cases, Pluto is actually making people unemployed because you feel like, after some obstacles that, I can't do it, I'm not able to do it. And sometimes people end up with, a depression or really feelings of inability to follow a certain path. But actually, I'm telling you, you have all the abilities that you need. Okay, you have all of them. It's just that you have to find the midway between strength, so repetition and strength, okay? Because it's about the eighth house. This is about breaking cycles. So sometimes it's unfair, and sometimes we really want to quit, right? But if we keep going and we find strength within ourselves, so if you find that strength to keep going and to step up and find a job that your heart wants you to do, okay, you actually can make it happen. Your strength is your power, okay? Inner strength, that's your power. That's where Pluto is the strongest, okay? Um, so yeah, climbing up and maybe having some moments where you kind of don't feel like working at all. Now, I wanted to say something about, I was thinking about something I wanted to say. Anyways, maybe it's gonna come back later. Yeah, this is what I want to say. It's coming back. So, also with this placement, what I've seen is that people can sometimes completely shift jobs. Like you can do, you could be a detective writer, right? With Pluto, you have strong Pluto, Mercury, you could be a writer, detective writer. And then you realize you are psychic and you're going to work for a real detective, right? And it becomes reality. So some people can switch, or you can go to the extreme of working in flowers and then go into a governmental position, because Pluto can sometimes switch you into a different direction, another extreme, to let you experience what kind of authority figure you want to be, and it's also teaching you to work in different kind of environments with different kind of bosses, and to become part of society and learning from those different people. So even if you don't agree, right? Doesn't matter if you agree or not, but that you learn like, okay, this person is running their company like that. I would do it differently. So take the notes for when you become a boss. Let people be who they want to be. I always say it's good because everybody has their own path to figure out. And each person in our life is a lesson and a mirror for us. So it's so important that you let each other free in this exploration. Okay. But yeah, there will be moments even where you might stand up for other people in the company, or when the other extreme that you're trying to run away from certain responsibilities. Okay. So there's these extreme situations where in one moment you could have been the hero, and the other moment it was the other way around. So find the midway where you can kind of work along with authority, but also find the strength to actually achieve the things that you want to achieve. And you will see those cycles will start to decline. And I'm telling you this from a Plutonic person myself. I've been studying this planet, and really the fine line is in the middle, because ultimately it wants you to rise from within, right? And it's really about rising as a phoenix from the ashes. This is what it's about. So, and people who know how to deal with severe situations have often been there themselves. That's why you're able to do jobs that maybe other people wouldn't be able to handle, right? Like working in an ER, um, like fast movement and maybe a little bit of, blood and things like that. Other people wouldn't be able to handle that, but you have this strength to do certain jobs, okay, and to get things done. So, yeah, research, strength, leadership, it's all very common with this placement. So, look at the aspects. And yeah, even with parents, because I said about very disciplinarian parents. And what I want to add is in some cases, you have parents that are actually avoiding all responsibilities themselves. Okay. They are actually haven't been there for you at all. So they were just, taking off. And this created the strength within you that actually you want to come really far in life, because you feel like, I don't want to end up in the same place. Like, I want to make a name for myself or do something to get out of this situation. So follow this path, stay humble, don't go in your ego. This is the trap, this is the Pluto trap. Stay humble, be strong in your core. Okay, like a real strong person is not going to be swifted so easily. It's someone that can just stay calm in moments of crisis. Like, you're a great crisis manager, okay? So you stay calm in this situation, and you will have this calm mind to oversee things and to know how to get things done, okay? So if you just follow this strength, you're going to do very, very well in society. If you fall for the ego trap, like, finally I have power, and you're going to misuse it, it's going to be worked against you, okay? Not in all cases, but in most cases, eventually it will go against you. So it's best to lead from the heart, from your strength. And yes, it's true that your aura is quite big in the workplace. So people are going to be a little bit intimidated. Okay. And if you haven't worked on your own Pluto there in the 10th house, or on the midheaven, you could even become a little bit jealous of people who are higher ups from you. But see it as learn from them. Observe how they're doing it. So you one day will get the same position. Okay. So work on these things, because you have really the strength to get just as far. Okay. So yeah, learn from the different people that you work for. It's very important. Learn from your parents. Were they too extreme in one way or too extreme in another way? How can you be more balance. How can you balance career, okay, not being a workaholic, or on the opposite, not working at all, okay? Find this balance and know that yes, this energy might be big, but in some jobs people need this big energy, okay? I have Pluto on the ascendant, and I decided to transform and help people from a genuine um perspective, and this is how you break the karmic cycle, okay? This is how you can work on your spiritual journey, and you will see less obstacles. This is the key for the best career. So I hope this video was really helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support my channel, subscribe to it. And also, I would love to know in the comments, what is your job? What job are you doing? What is your experience with bosses? What is your experience with your parents? Because also me, I'm still learning, and I also learn from your comments. So I would love to hear from you. All the best, and until next time. Thank you so much.